Hello, hello, beautiful people. Let's get crafty with Project Life Week 29. Let me take off my bangles here because I'm going to need to, do my thing. So, first up, what I want you to see here is that I actually downloaded several printables from Studio Calico. And then, right on the PDF on my computer, I was able to use the little text, um, I don't know what you call it, the little text bubble thing, and actually journal right on the PDF. So this is a wonderful little trick that I just figured out how to do, and I'm absolutely loving it. So my journaling is already done before I even sit down to do my thing with week 29. So first up, I am just trimming down my photos, backing them with some white cardstock, the Project Life 3x4 and 4x6 cards, and I'm doing that here. And then once this initial step is complete, I'm really ready just to dive right in, particularly because my journaling is already done. So at this point, I just trying to play around a bit with placement of the photographs. And I'm using a combination of black and white and color, some with a slight filter on them. So this was not a particularly exciting. It was a pretty regular average summer week for us. My eldest is in lacrosse camp, not so much camp, more like a summer league. And so we went to his final tournament this week. And so, of course, I caught a few photos of him working it out on the lacrosse field. And my baby boy was in a debate camp. And so on the last day, they invited parents in just to check out what the kids had learned and watch them in action in terms of proper debate procedure. And so now what I'm going to do, you'll note, is simply trim down the printable cards that I've journaled on. In this particular case, I don't keep much of the card. You saw I trimmed most of it out, and I'm going to use it in another way. And then here, this little card here, it's got some light blue. I'm going to keep that one. And then I'm going to do the same with these. I'll try to find the linky. This one I'm cutting up is not Project Life. It's another printable. The designer is really wonderful. I'm loving her style. And so I'll try to find that one and put the link below for you. The one downside, I suppose, to journaling in advance is that, if you change your mind and you're in the middle of the process, then you're going to have to do something slightly different. But I already looked at the photos that I knew I was going to print out. So I had a pretty clear idea of what I wanted to do just in terms of the journaling, not so much in terms of the design of the layout itself. So I had an initial 4x6 photo of my son. In the end, you see I cut it apart and I turned it into a 3x4 photograph and then back that on a 3x4 card. I already have the journaling, so I'm going to put that next to my son playing. And then this large black and white photo below, this is a photograph of my eldest actually building his computer. And he worked on it for several nights this week. And I just took one random photo of him diligently working. So in this case, what I wanted to do is actually just put a little bit of journaling to the side here. So I'm taking a Studio Calico printable label and I'm going to place the journaling inside of the label. Now, of course, if I thought of it, then, or I wanted to, I could go back and actually journal on the label itself. It wasn't that deep, was not that serious for me. So I'm just going to make it work and place the journaling inside of the label itself. And then just a few staples, more for decorative purposes than to actually adhere the journaling down, given that it already played some tape down. Okay, so moving right along. And again with this one, I am going to trim off some of that card. It was a little bit too much word and action for this small 3x4 photograph. So just with the limited portion of the printable card, I'm going to include the journaling about my son in the debate camp. I'm moving the photograph of my son with the cross over a bit. And I've got two images of my husband playing with his electronic little cars, remote control cars, and my youngest in the street in front of our home. So I was trying to debate where I wanted to place the journaling. Did I want it to place it on the shot of their feet in the car, or did I want to place the journaling um, next to my husband's face with the upper body shot? I decide that I'm going to go with the journaling on the bottom of this top photograph, and I'm fairly satisfied with that. So let me just say to you at this point, in the spirit of full disclosure, initially when I sat down, and the reason for journaling completely in advance is that I was going to try to do a real-time video, like 10, 12 minutes. And so I thought if I get the journaling out of the way, I'll be able to expedite the process. That did not happen. There's no way I'm finishing a page in 12 minutes, despite my best efforts. So in the end, this page took me 43 minutes, which really for me, I think it was 43 minutes, which for me is like amazing. But too long to do for real time. So just FYI, I wanted you to know what was in my head. And what inspired me really to make this a more, I think, kind of simplified layout. Just trying to see if I could create kind of a quicker video for you guys. So I think that this is about as good as it's gonna get for me. So at this point, I am looking for a few items to use to embellish the cards that I have. So pulling out the Ali Edwards kit, and I think I want to use this little phrase sticker. And I also have, printable labels. They are my absolute love and go-to. So lately I've been using this adhesive foam, as kind of dimensional adhesive, because the pop dots are just too much dimension, but the foam seems to give me just a touch of dimension without it being too bulky for my pockets. So I'm going to go with it. Just the other day, I was at Michael's looking at some of the other dimensional tapes and didn't like anything enough. So I'm just going to keep with my other stuff here that I'm using. So I've got the little check it out phrase. I'm going to place that there, and just half of that printable label to just kind of accent that 3x4 card. All right. So what next? That is the question, my friends. All right, so I found this little bubble thing. This is from Ali Edwards, the Read Stories kit. And I've yet to create a read layout. I actually have photos and everything. I just haven't put it together yet. So I'm going to use this little bubble, and then the word love. So the story is love. Really simple. And the journaling of my son and husband playing with remote cars says that I love seeing them just kind of playing together like that. So that works. It's in sync with the rest of the spread. All right, so now what is next? Trying some of these little wood veneer pieces. Thinking that maybe if I have some wood veneer on the right side of the spread, I want to have some wood veneer on the left, but can't find an appropriate piece to use. So I'm going to pull out a couple little items and see if anything speaks to me. All right, so I'm going to go with these chipboard black letters. And I needed to spell out something short, and yes is the ticket. So that journaling is all about my son playing lacrosse and, just being supportive, and he's getting better. This is his second summer giving this sport a try. So yes, seems to work right there, and we're going to go with it. And just out of luck, I see another little chipboard piece from that Ali Edwards set, and I'm just going to plop that right down there. It says Instant Classic, which works with the Check It Out. Okay, so I have this little now wood veneer piece, also from one of the Ali Edwards Stories kits several months ago. And I feel like I need a little something. So this little, is it acetate, this little plastic piece, I know there's no way I'm going to ever use that clock on something. So I like the little bit of red though that it brings to the layout, and so I'm just going to put that now chipboard piece on top, and so you just see that light ring of red around, and I like that touch. That is all I do to that 3x4 card, and I have to say it took a lot, and I mean, friends, a lot of self-control not to fret over that card and decide and try to figure out, do I want to do something else? Do I want to add something on the bottom? I just left it. And even now looking at it, I'm like, I don't know, should I go back and add something? But it's cool. Like sometimes it's okay. I keep telling myself this, to do less rather than always feel compelled to do more. So it is what it is. Okay, so next up, I am pulling out my latest, newest fave, and that is these Pegs clickable letters stamps. And I've got the letters and I've also got the numbers. And so I'm going to do a little ghost stamping, not something you hear me say very often. So I'm going to do a little bit of ghost stamping here with the week 29. Okay, there you go. Really, really simple technique. Lots of people do it quite frequently. Because I don't stamp that often, it's not something that I can recall actually doing before. But again, over the last few weeks, I've been trying to incorporate more stamping into my spreads. Okay, so we are almost there in terms of completing week 29. In fact, I'm not sure I really add anything else. I might add a few staples. I think this is really about it. So it was really fun to create, and I really appreciate you watching. Let me know how your Project Life scrapping is going this summer. The summer is coming quickly to an end, and I've had a wonderful time sharing. Hope to share a few more weeks with you before the chaos of the school year absolutely consumes me. But until next time, hugs and more hugs.